You may have seen spelt flour on the shelf at your grocery store or heard that you can use it in place of wheat flour in your baking recipes. But what is spelt flour? How is it different from wheat flour? And why would you even want to consider stocking it in your pantry? We're going to answer all of these questions in this video. Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Marissa if you are new to my videos. I help you learn how to prioritize your health with real food meals and snacks and low-tox living tips, while also juggling the craziness of everyday life and to make it doable and fun. I also share about my experiences with rest, stress management, and burnout, and about making progress to regain some balance in life. So definitely subscribe to join my community and to follow along. So in order to easily understand what spelt is and what makes it different from modern wheat, we need to first explain what ancient grains are and what modern wheat is. So wheat is a member of the grass family, and thanks to cross-pollination, different varieties of wheat exist. This cross-pollination, also known as hybridization, is a natural process, and this is how we get the ancient wheat grains, einkorn, emmer, spelt, and kamut, and they have been around for thousands of years. Modern wheat, on the other hand, was created by deliberate hybridization. Breeders select and crossbreed different wheat types in order to achieve specific and desired characteristics that help to increase yield, produce more consistent baking results, and have a crop that can tolerate challenging conditions like drought, heat, and/or poor soil. I like to think about it like a marriage. Ancient grains are like two people in love getting married and having a baby. And modern wheat is like an arranged marriage, and those two people have a baby, and their entire union is to help strengthen two businesses or two countries. Now, while ancient grains and modern wheat are related to each other, they do have some differences in their nutritional value and in the actual baking process. Spelt differs from modern wheat in several ways. It contains higher amounts of the micronutrients copper, iron, zinc, magnesium, phosphorus, manganese, niacin, and other B vitamins, making it more nutritionally dense. It contains higher levels of fiber. It contains more protein and lipids with a more favorable amino acid and fatty acid profile, meaning it contains all of the essential amino acids that your body needs, and it contains a higher proportion of unsaturated fatty acids, which are known to be very healthy for your body. It contains less anti-nutrients. It still has some, but just less than modern wheat has, and it also contains less FODMAPs. And like modern wheat, it does contain gluten, but it does have a different gluten structure. Gluten is the primary protein that is found in wheat, and it is made up of the two components gliadinin and glutenin. Gliadinin is responsible for the extensibility of dough, and glutenin is responsible for the elasticity of dough. Now, extensibility means that is the capacity to stretch or extend dough without it breaking, like with pizza dough. And the elasticity means that this is the ability for it to return to its original shape after being deformed, like you would see with a rubber band. So altogether, gluten helps your breads and baked goods to be stretchy, cohesive, retain their shape, and to trap gases during baking, which contributes to its rise and a light, airy texture. Spelt contains a higher proportion of gliadinin and a lower proportion of glutenin compared to wheat. Many say that this variation in gluten structure helps it to be easier to digest for those with a wheat gluten sensitivity or intolerance. However, this does alter the baking characteristics of the dough. Spelt flour produces a dough that has reduced stability, less elasticity, and a higher extensibility than wheat flour, which may make it more challenging to work with, and it may produce a lower low volume, meaning that your breads and baked goods won't rise as much as they would when you're using wheat flour. The health benefits of spelt are vast. They are the only grain that naturally contains compounds called mucopolysaccharides. These are complex carbohydrates that are broken down very slowly in your digestive tract, which provides a steady release of glucose into the bloodstream. And this will help give you sustained energy levels as well as blood sugar management. They have some anti-inflammatory properties that contribute to having healthier bones and joints and cartilage, and they can also help stimulate the immune system. It is more nutritionally dense, meaning that it contains higher amounts of the micronutrients copper, iron, zinc, magnesium, manganese, phosphorus, and B vitamins. Copper and iron can support healthy blood circulation. Copper is involved in the formation of new blood vessels. It helps maintain healthy red blood cell count and iron levels, and it also helps in the proper function of enzymes that are involved in blood vessel health. Iron is important for the transportation of oxygen throughout the blood and in the production of hemoglobin and red blood cells, and it's also closely linked to our immune system. Calcium and phosphorus are essential to our bone health, and phosphorus can help maintain the body at a proper pH level and with our energy creation and utilization of ATP, which is the energy currency of our cells. Thiamine, which is vitamin B1, plays a role in immune system activation. It helps to maintain muscle tone of the walls in the digestive tract, where the majority of the immune system is located, and it also helps with warding off inflammation and fighting chronic stress, both of which will definitely affect the immune system. Niacin, which is vitamin B3, helps to support heart health, brain health, eye health, and skin health. Manganese helps with nutrient absorption, the production of digestive enzymes, bone health, and the immune system. Spelt's high fiber content supports digestion, healthy cholesterol levels, blood pressure, blood sugar levels, and weight management. And the reason for that is because, one, fiber can't be digested, and so it remains in the digestive tract and helps to promote regular bowel movements. Now, along the way, it does help the body remove toxins, waste products, cholesterol, and excess hormones like estrogen. It also functions as a food supply source for the beneficial microbes that live within the lower part of our gut, and this helps us with so many things like vitamin production and utilization, immune function, and mental health. Another great thing about supporting the bacteria in our gut is that they are producing short-chain fatty acids, which are very important for the immune system, and they also help to relax blood vessels, which can help reduce blood pressure. It helps to support healthy blood sugar levels because fiber slows down the movement of the foods that we are eating and thus helps to mitigate the blood sugar spikes that can happen if fiber weren't present. And fiber helps with weight management because it can help you feel fuller for longer, which will influence your hunger hormones. As I mentioned earlier, Spelt is lower in FODMAPs, which are a group of carbohydrates that are poorly absorbed in the small intestine. And so they remain in the gut, and the bacteria that is present in our colon can consume them and then produce gas, which can cause bloating and digestive discomfort in some people. So the fact that Spelt is lower in FODMAPs than wheat may make it easier to digest for some people who are struggling to digest wheat. And Spelt is lower in some anti-nutrients compared to modern wheat. Anti-nutrients are compounds that are naturally found in the plant that can lower the absorption of the nutrients that are naturally found within the grain. So a lower amount of anti-nutrients can help our body absorb more of the nutrients that are naturally present. If you want to lower the FODMAPs and the anti-nutrients even more, then you can get Spelt flour that says sprouted, and or you can use it in your sourdough starter. And Spelt gluten structure may make it easier to digest for some people who have a sensitivity or a intolerance to the gluten that's found in modern wheat. But just remember, it still contains gluten, so Spelt shouldn't be consumed by anyone who has celiac disease. Now, let's talk about cooking and baking with Spelt flour. It is fairly simple despite the gluten structure differences. Many say that you can simply swap out wheat flour for Spelt flour for a 1-to-1 ratio, and this has been my experience thus far with using Spelt flour in recipes. When making bread, you may need to decrease the mixing and kneading times. You may need to adjust your water and flour measurements or allow the dough a longer rest time. Now, after kneading, you may find that the dough is soft and sticky, and the final product may be slightly denser due to the high fiber content. Spelt flour has a great flavor, and it gives your breads and baked goods a light, slightly sweet, nutty taste that works beautifully in both savory and sweet recipes, from bread and pancakes to cookies and muffins. Many stores sell Spelt flour, and it's definitely more accessible and affordable than some of the other ancient grains like einkorn and emmer. A quick Google search will let you see which stores in your area are carrying it, and I've also seen it sold online as well. Now, if you are going to buy it pre-ground, then you will see white versus whole Spelt flour. White Spelt flour is like all-purpose wheat flour. It's just the endosperm that's present, and it's virtually devoid of any nutrients because they take out the germ and the bran. So the healthier choice is whole Spelt flour. Just know that it does have a limited shelf life because unlike when you're buying whole wheat flour that's already pre-ground, from my understanding, the germ that's in whole spelt flour that's pre-ground is actually still present, and that means that the fats that are in there will make the flour go rancid over time, and it's not gonna last like forever. Really, the best thing to do is just to mill spelt berries at home using a grain mill. Milling flour at home is the best choice for high quality, nutrient-dense flour and thus nutrient-dense breads and baked goods. The reason is because you are retaining all three parts of the berry, which is the bran, the germ, and the endosperm, and the nutrients are going to be at their peak when they are first milled. They will start to dissipate over time. So the nutrient density of the flour for whole spelt flour that you're finding on the shelf at the grocery store or that you're ordering online is going to be less than that of freshly milled spelt flour. Plus, you will have less food waste as you'll only need to mill the amount of flour that you need for a specific recipe, and you won't have to worry about it going bad. It is incredibly easy to mill flour at home, and you can buy spelt berries in bulk, and they will last you a long time. The shelf life is like 30 years, so a very long time, so long as you're storing them correctly. Freshly milled flour is literally the easiest swap for so many of the foods and recipes that you're making at home, and it really has the power to impact your health in huge ways. I have linked my favorite grain mill below. It's actually right there. And I also linked where I get my berries and other bulk grains from. And I also have some discount codes listed there to help you guys save some money. So my final thoughts is while spelt is related to wheat, it does have some nutritional differences, making it the healthier option between the two. However, that being said, freshly milled wheat berries are still a great, healthy, nutrient-dense option for your baking needs, especially when compared against enriched all-purpose flour, enriched bleached all-purpose flour, and whole wheat flour. Now, unless you are struggling to digest wheat and need to opt for spelt just because of that reason, I do think that both of them have a place in your pantry as long as you don't have celiac disease. It really just depends on the recipe that you're making, and it also depends on where you're at in your baking journey. Most recipes that you'll find online that you are going to be learning from are using wheat flour. So you may want to just start there and get confident with those recipes, get intuitive with the process, and then gradually switch over to using spelt flour if that's what you want to do, and then just make measurement modifications as you go. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. When you're in the kitchen, you're the chef and you're the baker. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you are inspired to start milling fresh spelt flour, and I hope that you can see how making simple swaps like what flour you're using in your recipes can really help you to take care of your health and enjoy eating in the process. Healthy food isn't boring. It doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be restrictive, and it doesn't have to be overly complicated. Really just having wholesome, nutrient-dense ingredients are really the foundation of healthy eating, and then you can use them to make all of your favorite foods. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Take care. Bye.